Good morning, Sarah. This is my response to your discussion for week three. I think it was really important. I kind of pointed out some of the same things in my video, and I liked that you point them out too, um, about what was going on at this particular time frame. There were better times in U.S. history for us to have been able to tackle the types of things we wanted or achieve the types of goals we wanted to achieve in the Middle East. Um, but the period that Jacobs is describing, the intra-war period between World War One, World War Two, the post-World War Two era, and then the 1960s. This was a very tumultuous time for the world, let alone the U.S. The U.S. was sort of involved in every aspect of everything, um, and the post-World War Two era didn't really involve the Middle East a whole lot as far as U.S. foreign policy went. The rebuilding of Europe was a little bit more important. Um, Also, as you were talking, I was listening to you talk about the way that there was no aid, and that the aid wasn't getting to the right places, and that we had kind of turned it over to the Arabs and said, well, we're going to give you some aid, uh, keep us in the loop, but we got other stuff that's important. I mean, if you think about it, if you kind of step back and just think about it, that's a super condescending tone. For the Muslim world, which certainly, would recognize its own proud history, golden eras, the Muslim Empire, these types of things, to have somebody be like, well, if you guys act right, we'll give you some money. You know, I think that sort of sets it up for failure. Like, that's pretty condescending. If anybody in that country were to see it the way I'm talking about it now, which I'm positive some people did, yeah, it's not a real surprise that we've got problems there. So, oh wait, we're just these little idiots that you're so nice you're going to give some money to, as long as we act right, as long as we don't act up. That's how I incentivize my son, who you can hear in the background, with rewards like this. Like, hey, son, if you act right, I will let you play video games, or I will give you allowance, or whatever it is. And just the way you worded it made me hear that. And I wish I'd heard it before. I wish I'd heard it before I made my post, because then I would have made a bigger point about it. But yeah, that's the way you worded it was excellent, because it made me think that that way, and that the U.S. sort of really created its own problem in that sense, because we were condescending. Despite the way we viewed the region, despite all the facts that we don't know everything about the region, and that we didn't understand Islam, and we saw things as monolithic and they weren't. Despite all that, aside from all that, it's just condescending to come in and be like, "Here we are with our big money. You guys want some help? Just be sure to act right." I, you know, I really appreciate the way you worded it, because it made me hear it in a different tone. And I think Dr. Meredith had alluded to it, but I still didn't hear it that way. And now that I hear it that way, it's like, wow, it's pretty profound. So thanks, great post.